everybody. Today we're going to do a review of a firearm for you today. A friend of mine got a new shotgun. It is the Beretta A400 Extreme. Good shotgun, very good shotgun. And we are going to be going out hog hunting. And in an area where we live, you can use a shotgun as long as it uses a slug and not double-aught buck or shotgun. So it has to be a slug. And it's pretty new, and he's never fired it. So he came over this weekend. He handed it to me and said, "Hey, can you put it together real quick and put some rounds through, just to start breaking it in, everything like that." And I'm not going to say no to that. So just to let you know, I did put it together once, but I put it back in the case. I just want to make sure, because I've never dealt with this before at all. So I just want to make sure I didn't make anything really bad. And it was pretty self-explanatory, but I'll go over that. But before I begin, I want to give a little history about me and Berettas. And this is all personal. So if you're a big Beretta fan, it's all personal, it's all on me. I've never been a real big Beretta fan. And by the way, if we see a little cat coming through here, we got a white kitten, and sometimes he wants to get involved. Here he comes right here. I'll try to scoot him off. But me and Berettas tend to have had a bad history a little bit. And most of it was all psychological and everything like that, up in my mind. But it was still there. It started when I was in the Army. I was military police. And we carried the Colt 1911, the 45. Great gun. To this day, it is still my favorite gun, hands down. In a work environment, my favorite gun is my SIG P6 9. That's my favorite gun. But in a work environment, it is just rugged. You could throw it in mud, take it out, shoot it, no issues. Put it underwater, take it out, shoot it. As long as the ammo was okay, it would fire. It would just do everything. Well, then in the late 80s, they came to us and said, well, we're switching from the 45 to the Beretta M9. So, and they were kind of pushing it on us pretty hard. But I lucked out. That's when I was stationed in Germany. And we basically had a choice. You could carry the 45 or the 9mm. And they had some of the 9mm, and a lot of the people just wanted to jump on it to get it. So you could hold off for quite a while before you had to get it, And I could have finished my whole Germany tour there, without carrying it if I did want to. And got it. So we fired both, and it fired fine, no issues. The whole issue back then, they were saying, oh, the slide's going to crack, the barrel's going to crack. There was a problem with the slides, yes. There was a problem with the barrels, yes. But by the time it was mainstream in the military, most of those were resolved and gone. The only thing on the whole history of that was there was with the problem with the slide, and because I didn't know the full story behind it. I knew there was, because I knew the slide issue lasted a little longer. So I did some research on it this morning and found out, well, Beretta kept on back saying, well, you're firing non-NATO rounds in it. You shouldn't do it. You shouldn't. So basically, they were passing the buck. I didn't like that. If your customer wants to do A with it, and you say it's B, you make that to work, especially as big as purchase person as the U.S. military is. So that's what I didn't like about that, reading about that. But hey, bygones be bygones. But my review of that real quick, just so you know why I wasn't a big Beretta fan, was, and had nothing to do with the gun, was my experience with it is you just had to keep that thing super clean. I mean, just clean, clean, clean. Now, you should always keep your guns clean. But it was at the point where halfway through the day, I'd clean my gun and make sure the slide was okay and everything like that, because I didn't trust it. And once you start not trusting it, then you have an issue. So to me, I know it was mostly psychological. So a friend of mine bought this Beretta shotgun, the A400, and that came to my mind like, Beretta. And then I said to myself, I'm not doing it justice. I shouldn't say that. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to do anything. And so when he asked me to do this, I was really happy, because I think this will help me get over that whole Beretta astigmatism I have. So enough with that ranting everything. Let's go over this here. I'm going to rearrange the camera here so you can kind of see what's going on. Okay, here is the case you get when you get the Beretta A400. One thing I will say about the Beretta is you do get quality, and you pay for that. Don't get me wrong, and usually you get stuff thrown in that you normally don't get. This is a very nice case, very sleek, sporty looking. I like the dual handles. You got a handle here and you got a handle up here. I really like that. You do have to break it down all the way to get it in this case. So if you're going hunting or something, you probably want to get a soft case, a long soft case, so you don't have to keep putting it together every morning, something like that. So, but let's open it up and I'll show you what's going on in here. The only thing that was weird with this was how these clips work. For the most part, what I'm experienced to, it's upside down. You'd want to flip it over, but if you do that, everything comes out of the trays. So when you open it up, the clips, you open it up at the top, where normally you open the clips at the bottom. So that, first thing I did is open it up, everything kind of fell out, and I was like, okay. So that's one thing you want to go into. So as you open it up, you get your manual. I want to talk about that real quick. This was the major thing I did not like about this gun, was right here. Comes in a lot of languages, which is great. The only thing is, when I wanted to read to make sure, because when I was putting the barrel in, I wanted to make sure I didn't have to do anything special with the bolt, okay? And basically, all the instructions in here say when you're doing it is, put the barrel, here as according to figure 1. Now move the bolt like figure 2. There's no figures in this book whatsoever. No pictures, no nothing. There's no other thing that had the pictures in. So somebody made a big mistake with this book, that it used to be a bigger book, I think, or there used to be a set of figures somewhere in here and everything like that. But as of now, there's no figures. Looking online, there is supposed to be figures in the front covers and everything here. This just tells you the parts, but it doesn't tell you that. And in the back, but there's no figures there either. So I don't know if this was special with this book and pictures didn't drop down, but I see a lot of other people saying they didn't have figures either. So my guess is it's really bad written book or a bad batch of books. So, but that's here nor there. Quick Google search and you'll get better than this anyway. Get your warranty and everything from them. You get the different little card, tell you about what's going on. Okay, now the important part here. It does come with 3 chokes, okay? The one choke is in, and there's 2 choke cases right here. Another thing is they always talk about the chokes being color coded. None of these were color coded. I don't know if that's old, new, or anything like that, but they talk about color coding on the chokes. None of these are color coded. They all got the blue cap, and there's no whatsoever on the choke whatsoever. The only thing I did is I took the modified choke out and I put the cylinder choke in, just so when we shoot slugs there's less restriction, just to make sure. And if you do not know what a choke is, and right here is a choke tool. Now, I'm going to give Beretta kudos on this. Hands down, this is the best choke tool I've ever used in any shotgun. Hands down, bar none. To me, Remington is the best shotgun maker in the world. This choke is great. The reason I like it, it goes in like super easy, but it is secure, when you want to, unless you're holding it upside down like I was. It is secure you know, for your you know, for your guns and everything like that. What you do is you put it in and you twist, okay? And we'll, look at that, whoops, dropped it. Once you get here, you can use your hands if you want. I like using my hands at the end so it wouldn't fall. Okay, this is what a choke is. This is just a cylinder choke. Basically, it extends. You never want to fire a shotgun that has a choke without a choke in it. What the cylinder choke does is just makes it a normal shotgun. That's all it does. If you get to the modified chokes and all them, and there's different chokes, is what it does is, I'm going to exaggerate here, but it brings it down, or actually they go this way, brings it down. So it chokes your shotgun ammo, which are like little BBs for the most part, chokes it down. So you get a tighter pattern, so you have a better chance of hitting your bird or something like that, so it doesn't scatter as much. And different chokes do different things, but that's basically what a choke does. But bar none, this was, I'm trying to do it so you can see here. It's kind of on a down slope, but this is the best choke tool I've ever used. And you just do it until it's tight. You do not wrench it down or anything like that. So I'll give them kudos on that. Like I said, you never fire a shotgun that's made with chokes without a choke, ever. Because you'll ruin the threads in there. So, okay, and it did come a nice thing. Did come with some oil, which is kind of nice. And a little cleaning rod. I'm guessing that's a little rod here for cleaning. That's what I'm guessing. But it also could be a tool for here. But this is basically, and obviously comes with clips if you want to make a harness or anything like that for your harness. But, and here's the receiver. To put it together, you turn this screw up here clockwise. And doing some reading, like I said, this is the Xplor. They're one that has the extreme. When this goes in, you just put it in, you turn it 90 degrees and it locks in. I don't know why they didn't do that for all of them. Most of the time, the single point of failure for stuff like this is not the gun, it's not the barrel, it's usually screws and stuff like that. So if you could get away from that, I don't know why they didn't do that for all their guns. So, but like I said, this is the A400 Xplor. Okay. Once this is here, you get your barrel, and you have to bring, I'm sorry, but you take your front receiver off. You bring your barrel back a little bit, and you just basically line it up. And you want to make sure, let me do this here, it's kind of hard to do this where you can see. This opening here goes over this here, okay? So bring the barrel back. Slide it in, okay? And put your receiver back on, screw it back on, and then, you know, to get it to release, here's the release right here. And to go forward, I don't like letting it slam unless you have to, but you can do that. One thing I will say is, this is one of the smoothest actions here I've ever seen. To me, the safety is kind of, it's okay. It's just kind of, it is so, how do I say this, ergonomic and built in so well. It's unless you know what it's feeling like, it's hard to tell that is the safety. I should go forward, I'm sorry. It's hard to tell that's the safety. It's kind of hard to tell because it's built in so well and everything. So I guess that's a good complaint. So normally I'm used to where it's kind of out by itself so you can just feel it, you know, to turn it off. So, but that's basically it. It's pretty much ready to go. Now, one thing about this is made for almost no recoil. Besides a semi-automatic, the gas coming through to bring it to rechamber another round. It also has a piston back here, and the butt plate here has a cushion absorber. So I'm really interested in firing this here just to take a look at the kick on this here. So that's basically the shotgun right here as it is now. A little bit later today, you guys won't know this, but a little later today I'm actually going to take this out back in my land and we'll do some shooting on it, and I'll give you my first reviews, and that will actually be, you will see the first firings of this gun, because like I said, he's never fired it in. Want to start breaking it in, and we want to get some rounds in before we go hunting. Maybe we can get some hogs. So that's it. I hope you like this part here. And when I get back to you in a second here, you'll notice in a second.
Everybody, we're back here, and I have it loaded already. I'm going to shoot a few rounds off, and then we will load it up and go again, and I'll give you my first impressions with this. Load's real easy. The only thing I did is, I'll show you in a minute what happened, but just something you probably got to keep an eye on. So here we go, first time shooting. If anything bad happens, I guess we got it on film. Now before I begin, one of the biggest mistakes people make with the shotgun is they close one eye like a rifle. The shotgun, both eyes are open, so that way you get your depth perception. Okay, that was almost like nothing. it was actually really good. Let me grab 3 more. What I always do is I put one in this one holds 2 in the magazine and 1 in. So I got 1 in the chamber. Here's what happened last time. As I was putting it in, loading it, it didn't catch and it fell behind here, like it did right there again. That's the second time it's did that. The only way around that is to eject the one out. When you put it in, you have to really shove it up in there for this one here. I've never had to do that before. Maybe I'm just spoiled with my Remington 1100, but make sure you really push it up in there. Those were shooting, and they taken my time to make sure everything was aim and everything. This I'm going to go as fast as I can. And that was under controlled where I could see where I was shooting. I could have gone faster, but just wanted to make sure. It loads real nice, real easy. You just have to make sure you push it up there though. Did it again. You have to really have to, I guess. You have to make sure there. These will be the last 3 I'll do on camera. I'm just not used to that. I'm pretty much doing it every time where it catches underneath here. So this one I'll do as fast as I can too. So and that was under control too. So that's that. Make sure when you do this and you're firing, you wear hearing and eye protection just to make sure. And to talk about hearing protection, if you get the muffs, there's 2 different kind of muffs. These here, see how they're narrow right here? Regular ones come out to here. So if you get some, get the narrow ones that are pretty narrow, they're not as thick, because then you can wear them when you're doing shotguns. So that's it. I hope everybody enjoyed this review, of the Beretta A400, the Extreme. I thank my friend for letting me shoot it and everything, put it together. Thank you very much. And if we do go out and we do get a hog, I'm sure you'll see a picture of it somewhere along the line. So I hope everybody has a great day. Thank you for watching.